It's not just computers that have memory requirements. By the time we're done here, we will explore the flash and memory requirements shared by Cisco routers and switches. I'll never forget the very first time I took a Cisco router apart. It was kind of anticlimactic. I think I expected to find something like a glowing orb or maybe the flux capacitor or something inside of there. I mean, it's a router. It's something different. But I got the cover off. I'm like, oh, it's a motherboard and memory chips and interfaces. It's a computer. And that's what I want you to grab is really Cisco routers, Cisco switches is just a computer that is honed to do something really well. It's a computer designed for a very specific function. And just like a computer, it has memory requirements. But its memory requirements are actually far more critical than a computer. See, a computer, when it's like, oh no, I'm running out of memory, it's like, okay, let's start shoving stuff inside the page file, which really stores active applications and what they're trying to use in memory on the hard drive, and problem solved. It runs a little slower, and that's why people say, oh yeah, to make your computer faster, just upgrade the RAM. It's because it can keep more stuff active in the memory. But when it comes to Cisco routers and switches, they don't have a page file. When they run out of memory, they don't even get it out of their mouth. They go, help, I'm a crash. The whole thing freezes, device reboots because it doesn't have any way to react when its memory is up. Now, you might say, well, what would cause the router to run out of memory? It's not like running Half-Life or some memory-intensive application, right, that sucks all those things dry. And you're right. But Cisco has different versions of their operating system called the iOS, the Internet Network Operating System, that has different feature sets with it. And when you choose a feature set that supports more things than your device has memory for, that's when you run into trouble. See, there are really two memory components inside of your Cisco device, and this goes for Cisco switches and routers. You have flash memory, and that's exactly what it sounds like. And matter of fact, it uses the same flash that you'll often find in digital cameras and a lot of other things that use compact flash. And compact flash is just one type. It's the most common type. Think of this as the hard drive of the device. And what usually happens is it will store a compressed version of the Internet Network Operating System. And so when the device is going through its boot cycle, you can actually watch it on the screen. It usually will shoot pound symbols across, kind of filling the screen, pound, 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 and they go, or I guess the modern way, it's not a pound symbol, it's a hashtag. Hashtag, my router is booting. What it's doing is decompressing that iOS into memory, and that's where the danger happens. The danger is not that the router crashes during the boot process. That would be great, actually, because then you just be like, oh, it doesn't work. I must have to get more memory. No. Most of the time, it will boot, and things seem normal until one of those features get activated, or one of those features demands some memory, and it's not there. Then the device crashes. So how do you know what your memory requirements are? Well, Cisco has really tried to minimize the number of hoops that you have to jump through. When you buy a Cisco device, you will typically sign up for something called SmartNet. What that is their extended warranty and support to where if the device goes bad or you need firmware updates, iOS updates for the device, you can log into their website and download them. I just grabbed an article on Cisco's website that shows how to access that download software area. You go down, it shows here's the different versions that we have for your platform. So you probably can't see, it's so small. This says Cisco 3845 integrated service router. And if you look down here, they have all these different releases. So they'll have the latest release, and then they'll often have early deployment releases, for the people that kind of live on the edge and they're like, I need the new features, but I'm willing to sacrifice a little stability to get them because they haven't been tried and proven. So they'll have different releases, and each one of them has listed on it, and it's super small right here. It says DRAM. That stands for dynamic RAM. That's the memory, what most people will say the memory required for this advanced feature factory upgrade bundle version of the software. And then right next to that is the amount of flash. In this case, it's saying you need 64 megabytes of flash and 256 megabytes of DRAM. Now, my computer that I'm talking to you on right now, I think has 32 gigabytes of memory. So there's a drastic difference between what a router needs and what a computer needs. And the reason for that is obvious. Our computers do way more than just forward packets. And this is where the trouble comes in. I'm talking right now about building a physical lab environment. How does this relate? Well, you're probably going to go buy some devices off of eBay or some other website that allows you to purchase used Cisco devices. And it's going to come with a certain amount of memory. And you're going to go find an iOS version that has a little higher memory requirements, and you put it on there and it starts working. And you're like, ha, I beat the system. I didn't have to pay for it. And where that usually leads is your device goes up in flames. It doesn't break, it's just not stable. You're constantly fighting the crashing. So, your best bet is to find a feature set that fits the memory that you have installed on your device, or to go buy a memory upgrade. Don't if you're building a physical lab environment, don't buy it from Cisco. Getting that little logo on your memory costs you a couple $100 more than you would pay if you just bought some off-brand memory. For a lab environment, use the off-brand. Some people want it like Cisco, they shake their fists like they're just trying to rake us over. It's not true. I mean, maybe it's true, but the reason their stuff is so much more expensive is because it's approved and supported. You call Cisco in a production environment, they're going to cover that memory. They're going to make sure that they ship you a new SIM and all that kind of stuff. They're going to make sure it's the highest quality, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That costs money. You now understand the flash and memory requirements shared by Cisco routers and switches. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.